Well, we have a 40% L population at Westmore, and it is Title One.
I would say for our school, compared to a lot of other schools, we're a little bit smaller overall student population. We have about like 460 to 470 students here. And so in comparison to other schools, it may seem small, but it is a mighty school for sure. It really is. The community wants what's best for their kids. And so they rally around the teachers, the support staff, and they'll do whatever it takes to make sure that their children are successful. You can feel that here for sure. Like they are highly invested.
Yep.
So even though we have about 60% of our students who qualify for free and reduced lunch, you feel the passion behind these parents. They are fighters. And because of that, I think we've matched that same tenacity. And they want what's best for their kids, and we want what's best for them. And this team has risen to that challenge, and they have taken these kids so far. I would also say with our overall demographics is that we have a lot of new to the country students, families who are coming in from Colombia, Venezuela, Argentina, Chile. I mean, they're coming from many, many different countries and varied backgrounds, but they all have the same purpose. They want their kids to follow a dream. But by the end of the year, these kids are comfortable, they're confident, they're just willing to learn. And so I'd say, even though our demographics might show that we are a Title I school, but in heart, we're probably one of the best schools that you can match us up against any affluent school out there.
It's true.
Because our heart is.
It's true. Community.
Yeah. We've set goals as a team, we set goals as a district, and really shooting for those goals, working together to make sure we accomplish them.
Yeah, and we shoot high. The goal that we set at the beginning of the year, we wanted 85% of kids to score blue on Acadience, which is above level. And I've just found over the years as a teacher, when you shoot for that, when you're striving for that, it just works magic. So the goal setting at the beginning is huge. The district had a goal that all students would know their letters and sounds by, was it November 1st?
Yeah, December-ish.
Yes, and we just wow, that's a really lofty goal. I mean, we know that they'll be there by the end of the year, but Vic came in and helped us do intervention groups. So a team of teachers comes in, and right from the beginning, they would take groups of kids, and we do a CFA every week, and so we know where the kids are at and which letters need to be worked on. And then these specialized teachers would come in and teach the kids. We also had a top banana program.
The kids get all their letter names and sounds, they become a top banana. And it was based off the Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. So we had the top of the coconut tree, and when they got all their letter names and sounds, they got to put their banana at the top of the coconut tree. And that was very motivating for the children.
There was literally a big paper coconut tree right by the cafeteria, so that all of the siblings would walk by and see their little brother or sister as a top banana, or the neighborhood kids. And it was huge. Like, the kids still talk about how they are a top banana.
Well, and even on the announcements, at the beginning of the day, the announcements announced who the new top bananas were, and the kids got so excited and they were cheering on their classmates. When we had 6th grade reading buddies who would come in, and when their buddy got top banana, they were cheering him on, giving him high fives, and it created a community.
It really did amongst the whole school. So that was really, really cool. We even had a top banana party where we had banana splits when they all got it. And then once we hit that goal, then we needed a new goal, and we moved into blending groups.
So we started the 95% blending intervention book, and after we passed off our letters, we put our kids into groups according to their skill. And then with the intervention that Vic helped us get set up, and our reading specialists, we met and we went through the intervention program, and it was amazing to see their growth.
They did it every week in their PLCs.
Yes.
I could step into any of their PLC meetings and I was like, how's it going? What is it you guys need? And they knew exactly which students needed which type of help, not only like what the deficit was for a particular student, but instructional strategies that were based within the trainings that we received throughout this year as we went to full day kindergarten trainings, or based upon other previous knowledge that we have. It's like, we applied the knowledge. It wasn't just like, let's just sit around and talk about these kids. They came up with an action plan for every single kid. So as we talked about tier 1 instruction or the intervention cushion support that we created, the kids knew even. They knew exactly what they needed to work on, right? Like, we had some kids that still didn't get like B's and P's or Q's and P's, right? They're just like, and how you're like, how do we do this? How do we help these kids? And you guys worked together to figure it out. And as we worked with the aides who were coming in, we gave them specialized training as well. And nobody felt like, okay, you're an aide, you're the teacher. We were all teachers. And the kids,
We're a team.
yeah, kids totally were just like, it doesn't matter if I have Miss Winkleman or I have Miss Johnson or I have Miss Jayla. They were just like, okay, let's get it done.
Yep.
And they were. And I loved how you guys were so efficient, because when those teachers came in or the aides came in, those kids were like, yep, here. And they knew exactly what to do, anything, because you trained them well.
You gotta do that with kindergarten. Oh, yeah.
Or they're going to be wandering everywhere, right?
That's right. The herding cats thing is real, unless you train them very well.
And I loved how you said that you changed your goal.
Yeah.
It was just like letter names and sounds. But then like, okay, but remember, was it in the February training? They were like, hey, let's do like whole words read.
Yep.
And I remember
That was our new goal.
face, you're like, oh.
Oh, they can do it.
And then totally, and by
Totally.
the end of the year, how many of our kids are reaching first grade, like blue level, right? The 4 whole words read. Like, you guys are just
That was
amazing.
The PLC process, these ladies know how to do it. We get together twice a week and we have a very tight agenda. We identify what do they need to know, what are we going to do when they don't know it. A couple of years ago, we actually broke apart our Wonders units and identified all the essential standards that were embedded that the kids needed to know, and then we created CFAs. And it's on a spreadsheet, each CFA. We took the CFA so that we'd know that it was a good, solid CFA. And then we give it at the same time, the same one every week. And then we come together and talk about the data. And then we can figure out, which kids didn't get it and what we need to do. And that's when our intervention groups come in. And that gives us anything that we need. And that support is everything.
And I think that we all really care about our students and we want the best for them and we know they can succeed. And so when we meet every week, it's really important that we talk about where they're at, who needs support, those who have it, what are we going to do to help them be more successful and where we can go with them. And so I think it's just so important that, you're like Vic was saying in the beginning, like parents have a dream for their kids and so do we. And as a team, we can reach for the stars and we can help them be successful.
I think one other thing is, I think we just have a lot of respect for each other as teachers. We all have different strengths and weaknesses, and we come together as a team and we worked really well. We each share our ideas, we each pull from different things we've used in our own educator experience, because this is our first year working together as a team. And we've just really meshed and made things work together. We've created a community.
I really think it's been a perfect storm. Starting at the top with Vic, him being our administrator and him having the doctorate in literacy, him supporting his teachers. We feel very supported. He comes to our PLCs and asks us what we need. And then not only does he ask, he gives. He gave all of us a full-time aide and then the intervention aides in the afternoon. So he backs what he says and gives us support. And then our reading specialist, Natalie, she was over the kindergarten and first grade team, and she came and met with us once a week. She helped us with our reading interventions. She trained all of our aides. So when they worked with the kids, they had training. And she also had her own kindergarten support. So as an administrator who's worked with early childhood, she was able to know what we were doing every day and had done it herself. And then I think also as a grade level, working together and just like we talked about with PLCs, the support that we gave each other when we needed ideas, this isn't working, what have you tried? We were able to go to each other and ask each other for ideas. So I mean, it's really, and then so having the aid support, and then as a team working with our own aides in the afternoon, instead of keeping our aid, we shared them. So the afternoon was small group instruction for all of our kids the whole day. So really making it developmentally appropriate for them. And that wouldn't be possible without Vic's support, with him knowing how important education and early intervention with literacy, like none of this would have been possible. I think it was a perfect storm of all of these things coming together.
There's so much enthusiasm and passion in this team for education and for literacy. Everyone is involved in everything. Everyone knows what's going on in each classroom and who needs help, so we can support each other. And I think the intervention time has been so beneficial for all the students and for the teachers. And one other thing I would add is kind of how Heather mentioned, we have our blending and our letter names and sounds groups, but we also made time to do other interventions. We did writing intervention, which had the kids helping each other sound out words, and that phonological awareness piece has been really beneficial for the kids to start connecting, oh, I can read and I can write, and those kind of go hand in hand. And so that was really cool.
I think we have really good Tier 1 instruction too, our whole group instruction. I really like our phonics piece that we do. It's very explicit and targeted, and we get most of the kids' phonics and foundation and all of that stuff with our Tier 1. It's a really good phonics piece.
We believe they will do well. And because we believe that, we put in systems and structures. We're very explicit in their instruction. I loved how Carrie said our Tier 1 instruction was amazing. And it was. It truly was. Because you can't intervene to get to the level we got to. You just can't. That's like the icing on your cake here, right? Like, it's their classroom day-to-day instruction and how they connect with the students, their belief in saying, we got this. Like, even though we got another new student, but we even got those kids up to the level. We're not just talking about, only the kids we had on day one. We're talking about the kids we got in January and February. And because we knew that and how you worked with the aides, they knew that, and okay, it's like you put on the afterburners. Like, okay, before the end of May, you will know this.
Yes.
And you made sure, because you believed in it. It wasn't a hope strategy. It was you believed, and you were explicit, targeted, so data focused. So I would say all those little pieces is what made them so successful.
Every student should feel comfortable with their teacher and should have a relationship. It's a two-way street. If the student's not comfortable with you and doesn't feel safe in the classroom, and that you don't have a community and a family, they're not going to learn. And so when you take that time to get to know these students and know their interests, know their families, know about them, they don't believe that you have their best interests at heart. And so when you start investing in these children, they invest in you. And that two-way street, that team that we create, just makes a world of difference.
A couple years ago, the state said, hey, we want all the teachers to complete the letters training, and admins, you have your own little abridged version. And I was like, okay, that's cute. So I took that, but I'm like, that's not enough. It was great. I'm gonna be honest, it was a good overview, but I completed the trainings with them. Day in, I was like, okay, I'm taking my tests, I'm taking my quizzes, and then I'm studying along with them. I even got my reading endorsement several years ago before, but it wasn't enough almost. I had to be right there with them, and just be willing to be teachable and take their journey with them, not just be an observer of it. And it makes it so we have the same language. We're talking the same thing. We're understanding, okay, when we're talking about phonological awareness, what does that mean? When we're talking about Scarlet-Burroughs Road, what does that mean? We're not hey, admin, we're gonna get you caught up on what the simple view of reading is. It's no, we're able to have these deep discussions, and I would say that has made me a better leader. And I think sometimes as leaders, we get kind of disconnected from the basics and almost the heart of the content. And you have to throw yourself in there. Don't be afraid. We learn and we study about other leadership and organizational leadership type of stuff. But if you forget the actual day-to-day, if we can't talk with our teachers about what's in their faces day in and day out, then I'm almost useless, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say just taking the time just to study and to learn. I remember last year even, I got a book about literacy assessment. And people kind of say, hey, Vic, you're like the assessment person. And it's like, yeah, but doesn't mean I know it all. It's not like, so I went and I got a book and I was reading more about literacy assessments, and as we were doing the Acadians test, I studied up on, okay, the days versus retell, how do the two work together? How does that predict a greater success in reading and comprehension? I took the time to do that, and it was because I needed to talk the talk with my teachers. And if I just was like, yeah, kinder teachers, you got your letters, but it wasn't like, hey, letter names. We were typing, okay, letter sounds, because that's more important here for us. And like, I felt like I could talk with my teachers. And I think that's what really helped by completing the letters training, understanding the reading of science, is that I'm able to hang with them.
I was going to say, I can testify to that. He was in our classrooms all the time. He was seeing what was working, what was not. And then he's also giving us support, like, what do you need? So we wanted to start this new little activity. So he got us the things that we could make so we could do those activities with them that helped us accomplish our goals. So he was in there watching us. He's helping us reach those goals and giving us the tools to do it too.
We were kind of formulating this idea, this program that we were doing as we went. And so we didn't start the letter names and sounds group right away. We didn't implement the top bananas right away. But what change will be made when we do implement it sooner? So just starting right off the bat, getting these kids where they need to go even faster.
Yeah.